What it do, everybody? This your man Dre, aka Dre on the Wheels. This is episode 41 of the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. What's goody? How everybody doing out there? Appreciate you guys joining me back here for another episode. You dig, man? Good morning, good night, good afternoon to all my listeners, all my subscribers all across the world. Shout out to all my listeners in Canada, Germany, the UK, all over the states. I appreciate it so much, man. It's going to be a fun show. If you guys watching on YouTube and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Yes, like it, leave a comment, share it, and also smash the notification bell so you don't miss an episode. Plus, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, man, it's going to be a very fun show in the books. You guys, my guest coming up later on in the podcast, he will be joining me, you guys. Kamil Ahmad, you guys. He's from Kentucky, you guys. He's an independent pro wrestler. He works for World Wrestling Alliance, Top Notch Wrestling, you guys. Ascend Pro Wrestling, just to name a few, you guys. He is the domain. He is the Saudi star, you guys. Kamil Ahmad will be joining me here on the 1130 podcast, you guys. But before we get to that, I want to shout out my guest who was on last week from the UK. Shout out to all my UK listeners. My man, Jay Martin, you guys, the host of the Backboard podcast. Appreciate you, my guy, for joining me here on the podcast. I'm so excited, man. For real. I'm so excited. But you guys, man, before we get to my guest, man, we're going to jump into some trending topics in wrestling this week, you guys. We're going to start it off with Bow Wow. Yes, I know this is a wrestling podcast, and Bow Wow, of all people, wants to wrestle in the WWE. He wants to live out his childhood dream. There ain't nothing wrong with wanting to live out your childhood dream. Whatever you want to do in life, you can accomplish it. You can accomplish it. And that's all, and I'm saying that all with positive, If Bow Wow feels as though after his latest album that he want to drop, that he want to step in the ring and work for the WWE, then this ain't just, if anybody can do it, and everybody, then everybody and anybody would be. But not everybody can do it. But as we've seen in the past, multiple actors, multiple entertainers have stepped foot and wrestled in the WWE. Snoop Dogg could be, he one of them. I don't think he necessarily wrestled, but he did his thing. He did his thing. And we all saw that horrible splash he hit in AEW. But yeah, we're gonna move on. But yeah, Bow Wow, man, wants to work for WWE. Most likely, if anything, he may have a WrestleMania match. Who knows? It may be a SummerSlam. Bow Wow sent out a tweet, and he's been tweeting Rey Mysterio. He's been tweeting Dominic. He's just been going all over the place. Back in the 80s, it was rock and wrestling, when we seen wrestling and MTV team up, and you just had a whole lot of rock and roll stars on wrestling, whether they were performing, whether they were the ring announcer, you just saw that connection there. And now here in a new modern day, I mean, is it rap and wrestling? Because Bow Wow wanted to make his, way into the WWE some way, somehow, I guess, to make that last big check before he just been right off into the sunset. And I was talking about Bow Wow on my main podcast, you guys. Don't forget to check out the 1130 podcast show each and every Wednesday on YouTube and EB Radio. Cheap plug, you guys. But yeah, I was talking about Bow Wow, how in Houston, like a month ago, he packed the club. So it's like, wow. I mean, hey, you got to find a way to stay relevant, man. You got to find a way. But speaking of rap and wrestling, another person in rap, man, who seems to, sort of have her foot maybe in the WWE or not. We've seen her trend worldwide on Twitter, where it was Legends Night in WWE about a month ago, where Toy Wilson told Angel Garza that, hey, Cardi B is in that room, and boom, it just went nuts after that. Cardi B tried to figure out why the hell I'm trending with WWE, and the whole back and forth with her and Lacey Evans. So I really don't know, man. The most I can really see Cardi B doing if she steps foot in the WWE ring is being a ring announcer. And, they might not want to they could put her on commentary, but a ring announcer would be great. Her coming out there, maybe, ring announcing a match with Charlotte in it or Lacey Evans, some big high profile matchup. So, I don't know. I really don't know, man. It is crazy. It's crazy. Speaking of entertainers and artists, guys, Bad Bunny, yes, you guys, Bad Bunny performed at the Royal Rumble. And not only did he perform at the Royal Rumble, he stuck around, you guys, on the next night of Monday Night Raw and also this past week on Monday Night Raw. And Bad Bunny, of course, was trending in all the news outlets. Sorry, as far as TMZ, we're talking about Bad Bunny and how he was on Monday Night Raw and how he jumped off the top rope. And, I guess that's inspiring Bow Wow that he can do it, man. It's always good when you can inspire someone. But yeah, Bad Bunny, man, he received some heat by being in the WWE, knowing that he's a worldwide star. He's famous. He's like the number one music on Spotify or whatever like that. But I mean, like the fact that he loves wrestling, people want to bad shame him, man. I don't get down with that. I don't like that. I've been watching wrestling since I was 9 years old. We all get it's predetermined, it's scripted. We get all of that. It's real to me, damn it. You feel me? It's real to me, damn it. But I love it, man. So I don't think just because that you don't see what was all the hype about it, or you don't see why everybody like it, don't give you the right to badmouth it, though. You feel me? I don't like that. I don't like that. Just because I like wrestling and it's predetermined or scripted. Your favorite movie is scripted. Yeah, they add all the sound effects and they do all of that after a year or two of post-production to make it come out the way it's. So come on, man. I hate when people badmouth wrestling. So all my wrestling fans, let me get a ooh-ah, ooh-ah. Other news in trending wrestling, you guys. Tyler Rex, man. Yo, shout out to Tyler Rex, man. If you, in any desire, man, feel as though that, you want to be whoever you want to be in life, man, just be it. Tyler Rex, man, went on a full transformation, and seeing the photos, because I heard the story and I heard the headlines, and it was like former WWE superstar transformation. And I was like, who is it? And they actually said his real name. So I was like, I don't know about that name. So, I started to read more into it, and it was former superstar. He been married for some time. He had a daughter and everything. And he just when he was little, he always dressed up in women's clothes. I don't know if this was ever presented or brought out. Of course, your personal life is your personal life, but I don't know if this was ever presented in any type of way or fashion in the WWE. We all know when Tyler Rex left, I believe it was 2011, 2012, he already, he shared his dislike and disdain from the company and lack of creative ideas and stuff like that. But hey, man, if you feel as though you want to do a change, man, you keep doing it. So shout out to my man Tyler Rex, man. Shout out to him and Tyler Rex. But you guys, man, we're going to move on here on the podcast. You guys, man, Monday Night Raw went down this past week. It was a decent one. It wasn't all that good. Just a couple of points to point out here before we get to my guest from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, you guys, and some AEW. We started off Monday Night Raw, you guys, with Adam Pearce in the middle of the ring and the return of Shane McMahon. The thing right here that I find a little funny is that Shane McMahon came back just to say that Adam Pearce, yo, great matchup that you made, but really Shane came out there to really kind of like put the match together and announce it. So in my predictions, I'm pretty sure at WrestleMania it's going to be Adam Pearce versus Shane McMahon. I didn't like what they did with Adam Pearce a couple of weeks ago with the Kevin Owens story. I really was digging that old Shinsuke Nakamura. So it's like, do Nakamura ever get his title shot? Do he ever get the match that he didn't get? So, I mean, but yeah, Shane McMahon versus Adam Pearce at WrestleMania. What's your guys' thoughts on that one right there? What's your guys' thoughts on that one? Also, man, what else we see? Keith Lee taking on Riddle. Man, what a hell of a matchup that was, man. Hell of a matchup that was. Keith Lee walked away with the victory, but not only did he walk away with the victory, not only did he walk away with the victory, he got chokeslammed after the match by Bobby Lashley. And I'm really loving what they're doing with Bobby Lashley, making my guy look strong, looking really, really strong. Yeah, he's the United States champion, but Bobby, we need more from Bobby. Why had Bobby never faced it? Brock Lesnar. Like, can we really push Bobby? Because I think Bobby can be the future. Would it be Black History Month and that? Not just because it's Black History Month, you put a major title on a black person. I mean, we should get this throughout the year. You feel me? But I mean, Bobby Lashley is looking dominant, man. For real. Really, really looking dominant. Nia Jax, man, seems to went viral with screaming out when she hit the leg drop and Lana moved, but she landed on an apron and screaming out my hole. So they got a t-shirt with it and everything. So I don't know how far that's gonna go on WWE TV. But we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. Monday Night Raw been, you know, and with the Nia Jax, after she hit the leg drop, she will go on to lose the tables match against Lana. Yeah, I know, right? Against Lana. So that's crazy. That's crazy. Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre capped the night off. Randy Orton winning by a DQ after Sheamus got involved. So it looks like Sheamus going to take his frustrations out on Adam Pearce because Shane McMahon is the one who really booked the damn match. So, I mean, it looks like we're going to have a huge Elimination Chamber matchup coming up in 2 weeks, you guys. AEW, you guys. I know a lot of you guys are really disappointed about AEW, man. I was there at the first show. I was here at the first show in DC, man. And AEW lately just ain't been kicking it off right. But with the matchup they kicked off this past Wednesday night was really good. I really enjoyed Darby Allin and Joey Janela. I think Joey Janela is a great competitor. I mean, I was talking to a couple of my independent wrestlers, you know, Sean O'Brien, just to name a few. Shout out to my man Sean O'Brien, referee Man Bun. The fact that Joey Janela could tell a story. You know, he wrestled a broom. He wrestled a social distance match. He wrestled an invisible person. So, I mean, I think anything Joey Janela does, man, is the sky's the limit. He can be really, really great at it. But that was really great with AEW this week, starting it off. Also, MJF just needs to leave the inner circle, but it looks like Sammy Guevara has left the inner circle. I mean, with everybody saying that Sammy Guevara reminds, you know, them of Eddie Guerrero, I mean, I think the time is to go ahead and pull the trigger on it now. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to keep saying, well, Sammy, yeah, you remind me of Eddie. You remind me of Eddie. Well, I mean, if I remind you of Eddie, let me do something with it, you know? So I don't think he should be in the inner circle. I damn sure don't think MJF should be. And what the hell was up with Santana and Ortiz? Like, they're supposed to be receiving a tag team title shot next week on Dynamite, but why are these guys not pushed as a top tag team? But instead, we get Jericho and MJF. And I think Jericho, man, hell of a guy, man, hell of a wrestler. He's going to keep making history in the wrestling business as he evolves. But I think the time is just, you know, his body and the way it's looking on HDTV, I think he's better off at the commentary desk. Now, I don't know about you guys. Me personally, I think you're better off on the commentary test. Speaking of better off, man, Sting. I don't know why we got to see Sting every single week on Dynamite. You feel me? They kind of like ruining the mystique of Sting. You know, he's supposed to just, you know, how Darby Allin, they pandered the camera to Darby Allin when he was in the bleachers. Like, I mean, that was supposed to have been Sting. I mean, I understand, yeah, it's old and, you know, but come on. Like, come on. Like, he comes out there basically just for an attraction in a way, but we don't have to see him every single week, man. The Undertaker. Before, you know, he started wrestling just once a year at Mania, we wouldn't see The Undertaker every week. We would see him every now and then because that character is special and he is special. But hey, that's AEW. That's AEW. AEW, man. Speaking of AEW, their main event this past week, Kenny Omega teaming with Kenta. Yes, you guys, Kenta is in AEW, man. And they took on Jon Moxley and Lance Archer, what was a dope Falls Count Anywhere matchup. That matchup really reminded me of SmackDown 2 Know Your Role, just fighting in the kitchen and everything. I'm like, this seemed like something they're going to put in a video game. Like, I don't know. But I mean, AEW, man, I mean, they trying, I guess. NXT, you guys, as we move on, the NXT Dusty Rhodes Classic for the men and women continues. We seen the MSK defeat Legado del Fantasma, what was a great matchup right there. MSK will go on to face the winners of the Grizzled Young Veterans in Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa match, what was an awesome main event of NXT. But Unfortunately, Thatcher and Ciampa didn't walk away with the victory. For the second year in a row, the Grizzled Young Veterans are going to the NXT Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals. And they're taking on a young and hungry tag team by the name of MSK. And I really dig in MSK. Hope they go far, man. I hope they really, really go far in the tournament. Another woman that's going far, and I'm really loving her transformation and her character, is Xia Li. Xia Li, man, she's doing really good. WWE, NXT, Triple H, man. You feel me? Keep it up. Really, for real, keep it up. I'm talking about the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Chauncey Blackheart and Amber Moon defeated Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell to advance to the finals to take on Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. That is going to be a dope matchup this Sunday at NXT TakeOver Vengeance. Headlined by Finn Balor and Pete Dunne. We got the NXT Women's title on the line. We got Io Shirai taking on Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez. Just a bunch of matches going down this Sunday at TakeOver Vengeance. I want you guys' thoughts on NXT, kind of like reviving back WWE's old pay-per-view things. What about NXT TakeOver Judgment Day? I think that sounds nice. That sounds nice. That really do. That really sound nice. But you guys, man, before we get to my guest, Kamil, you guys, of course it's Friday, you guys. It is Friday, but last week on Friday, man, Roman Reigns had everybody jumping out of their seat, though. Really, though. Roman Reigns he went from 0 to 100 real quick. Now, why you had to play games with me? Like, come on, Roman. Like, Paul Heyman almost had a heart attack. You ain't had to skid a man like that. You ain't had to skid a man like that, man. But, man, that was cool right there. Roman Reigns came out, just why I'm out here first and why is Edge not out here first. So Roman Reigns felt like he was being disrespected, like you were playing with me, you were playing with my name. If you playing with me and you disrespecting me, that means you're disrespecting my family. And it don't work like that, man. It don't work like that. But man, I'm just loving what Roman Reigns is doing right now. Another thing, man, I'm loving Cesaro. I was speaking on Shinsuke Nakamura earlier, man. I love it what they, was doing or did with Shinsuke and, in that moment, having lasting that tournament or going the way in the gauntlet, and, winning it. And now we got Cesaro that's killing it. So, they broke them up, but they both doing their thing. But Cesaro don't match up with Daniel Bryan last week. Bianca Belair, baby. Yeah, she won the Royal Rumble, you guys. I explained to my man, Deshaun, on his podcast. Once again, shout him out. Whip Dog Wrestling Heroes and Insiders Podcast, you guys. I'm on a podcast. Go check me out. I shared a tear. The emotion, everything that just oozed out of her when she got up on the top rope, man, and the pyro just went off. And everybody who know me, that I love wrestling, I love pyro. So when them pyros went off and she was just springing her braids in the air, man, you can feel that emotion. And them showing the clip of her mom and dad sitting there watching her win the Royal Rumble. I mean, that's priceless. That's priceless, man. That's nothing but priceless. So shout out to Bianca Belair. She gonna do her thing, and I know she gonna choose. I mean, she kind of like throwing a little swerve. She might choose Oscar though, but man, take my money if she choose Sasha. Yes, Sasha versus Bianca at WrestleMania. Come on now. Another thing we've seen on SmackDown, you guys, Big E defended his Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat matchup against Apollo and Sami Zayn. I'm really loving what Apollo doing. He's kind of like adding the edge to his character. Like, man, I won it. You feel me? I know I won the United States Championship. I know I can win this. And the only person in my way is Big E. So, I mean, I want to see where it goes with this. And I want to see where it goes with Apollo and Roman. We saw them two together. So we don't know how this is going to go. Speaking of Roman, of course, told Edge at the start of the show, you better give me a decision of who you going to face, at WrestleMania, and Roman, once he saw Edge, and the first thing basically Roman said, acknowledge me. Like, damn, Edge didn't do nothing besides win the Royal Rumble, Roman. Like, I'm on your side. You feel me? Acknowledge? Oh, man, like, Roman is just the man, but he get KO and he stuns Roman and leaves, man. And that's how we end that. So we gonna see what we gonna get tonight on SmackDown, you guys. Man, you feel me? Like I really thought, Edge was gonna acknowledge him, but since Edge been back, he been on the road. Like, I didn't think he was. You feel me? Like, but Roman ain't playing, man. You better acknowledge him as your tribal, as your tribal chief, as your tribal chief. Yes, you guys, man. I hope I ain't ramble on too long. You guys join me each and every weekend on Talk Pro Wrestling to hear me talk some pro wrestling. But yes, you guys, coming up right after the break, you guys, don't move. My guest, Kamil Ahmad, you guys, from Kentucky. He's an independent pro wrestler. He's going to be joining me here on the 1130 podcast. You dig, man? Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. Don't move, you guys. I'll be right back here on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. Yo, you guys, welcome back here to the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. Appreciate you guys sticking with me throughout the break. You guys, like I was saying before the break, my guest is joining me, you guys. Coming to us from Kentucky. He's an independent pro wrestler, you guys. He wrestles for WWE, you guys, World Wrestling Alliance, Top Notch Wrestling, Ascend Pro Wrestling, just to name a few, you guys. He's the voice of the domain. He's the Saudi star, you guys. My man, Kamil Ahmad, he's going to be joining me right now. Kamil, how's it going?
Oh, it's going well. Thank you for having me on the 1130 podcast.
No problem. Thank you for joining me, man. Like I was saying before the show, man, you're very, very sharp. I really like that, man.
Thank you.
No problem. How's life?
It's going well. The coronavirus pandemic, everything is kind of slowed down. Wrestling, all of it. And it was a slow time, but thankfully everything's picking back up slowly but surely. Everybody's doing their part to kind of try to slow the curve down. So I'm excited to get back into wrestling, get back in front of all the people and everything. It's just I'm glad to be in the place that I am right now.
Okay, that sounds really cool. Man, I appreciate you joining me once again here on the podcast. For my listeners and viewers who are joining me on the podcast, not familiar with you, can you tell them a little something cool about yourself?
Well, as you stated, my name is Kamil Ahmad. I am the voice of the Dominion. I've been wrestling in the state of Kentucky for approximately a little under 2 years now. I've wrestled. I've been fortunate enough to wrestle, all over the state. I was trained in Frankfort, Kentucky, under Scott Diamond, Henry Shaw, and Omega. As everything has been, COVID has kind of slowed everything down. So I haven't gotten an opportunity to travel quite as much as I have, but I've been able to go to Indiana, Ohio, wrestle a couple places, and just see what there is out there. And you gotta love doing this to do it.
Yeah, you really do. You gotta have the passion to do it right now, and with things are going the way it is, you got to make the best of it. Like you said, you've been wrestling for 2 years. You're originally from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Were you born there, or were you born here in the States?
I was born in the States. Yes.
Okay.
I'll have to explain just a little something about what I do. The origin is all part of the gimmick. I have actually never been to Jeddah. It's a callback to ancestry and everything. I try to use that as a way to promote, who I am as a wrestler. I think a lot of people blur the lines between what is reality and what is wrestling. While I personally was not born in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, I use that as a way to promote myself, my history, my ancestry, and try to mesh that and make it into a character that is that is received in other countries, that is received from other people that you don't see this every day. You don't see a Saudi Arabian superstar performing in the US as much as you see at the other. It's just something you don't get to experience, and I think it's a very unique perspective, and I like to take that and use that everything about professional wrestling is trying to make something unique that isn't seen every day. So I try to use my history as a way to stand out, to seem different.
That's cool. Well said. That's well said. What was some of your favorite moments of loving wrestling?
Well, I grew up watching, actually the very first time that I got to watch wrestling and really got into it, I was flipping through the channels on the TV, and I don't remember. I believe, and don't quote me on this, I believe it was Crime Time, the Usos, it might have been the Hart Foundation. We're in a triple threat tag team match a while back, and the lights cut off. When the lights came back, the Undertaker was in the ring, and he just brawled with everybody. And I was like, wow, this is so cool, And that's really what got me into wrestling. Love to watch it. I kind of fell out of touch with it several years ago, and I ended up, getting back into it, watching some independent shows around here. And, I made the decision, look, this is something I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. And I need to do it. I need to pursue it. And it is not for everybody. It hasn't been easy. I've been very fortunate being where I'm at, having the people around me to help me. I've had a lot of people that have, promoted me themselves personally. And for that, I'm greatly appreciative of everything they've done. It all starts, everybody has this dream. Every wrestler, as a kid has this dream of, getting in the squared circle and just performing in front of thousands of people. And it's something that it's honestly a dream come true, how much fun it has been. Obviously there's always things you don't like about everything, but as a whole, I can't complain at all about my time in professional wrestling at all.
Okay, that's really, really cool. You talked about how loving wrestling and this was a dream growing up. I know you have a dream opponent in your mind, in the future. Who would you like to, get in the ring with?
Oh man. Well, I can't say that there's one person I'm going to pick out in particular, just that I would love to lock up with, but there's so many talents in the area. There's so many talents farther out that I would love to get in the ring with. But my biggest thing is, no matter who I'm facing, whether it is some guy that has been training for 6 months or somebody that has been in the business for 15, 16 years, I honestly look at it like it's a great opportunity. It's a great learning experience. But at the end of the day, as the fans are cheering, the fans are on the feet, the fans are booing, whatever it may be, as long as they're engaged in what it is, I could care less who I'm facing. I love performing. I could stay on this level for the rest of my career and be just as happy as if I was performing in front of, 15, 16,000 people in an arena. It's all about the fans at the end of the day. Now that's not to say there wouldn't be many people that I'd love to get in the ring with. But it's just, I can't say I've got one person in mind in particular. I'd love to lock it up with, I watched TNA quite a bit back in the day. I loved the technical wrestlers, I loved, just to name a few, Eric Young, he's such an amazing athlete. He's such, he's technically sound in everything that he does. I think James Storm is another great example of somebody that, I don't know how familiar you are with older TNA, or even today. I think he's back on with them for a little while. And I'm picking people that are coming to mind, but really I couldn't care less who I step in the ring with, because at the end of the day, I know I'm going to give 100% toward that show. And I know they're going to give 100%, or I hope they do. And just make it the best show possible for everybody.
Yeah, you're right. You're speaking about getting back into wrestling, and you've been wrestling for about 2 years now. What made you get back into it?
It was another one of those channel flipping moments. I had gotten very busy throughout the end of my high school and college. I played basketball. I played, I did as much as I possibly could, because I love staying active. I love, doing stuff constantly. And I had kind of fallen out of it. And I was home one day through channels, and popped up on Monday Night Raw. And I said, you know what, let's watch and see what's changed, see see what's been going on. Cause I completely cut out wrestling just about, I wasn't watching it. I wasn't keeping up with it. And once I started getting back into it, I was like, wow, this is something I really missed. I love, and even today, as much as I don't get to watch the current product as much as I would like to, I still love to get on there and flip through, watch highlights of shows, see what people are doing today, because that's my biggest thing. I feel like a lot of wrestlers today fall into this rut where they're doing the same thing they've done for years. And so the same thing over and over and over. And this touches back on what I was talking about earlier. It is, doing something to stand out, doing something to be different. And so all of this stuff, I know AEW is doing a lot of good stuff. WWE, I mean, they're doing the same thing they've been doing, but there's still a lot of different people. There's, Ricochet. That's another person you could add to that list. I mean, he's an awesome athlete. He's doing stuff that you don't see every day. Keith Lee is one of the most athletic big men in the business right now. And all of this, it comes back to what I was saying originally. You have all of these different perspectives, all of these different ideas, and I love keeping wrestling fresh. So I always check out the product. I always see what's going on to see what I can do, what I can do for the fans, what I can do to have, the match of the night.
That's real sick. I like that. You got to keep it fresh because a lot of things are being recycled over and over and over again, especially with WWE right now.
And that's not to say recycled is bad now. I enjoy a lot of your old 80s spots and stuff that people don't really, see anymore. They've forgotten about. Recycling those back into it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The product being, displayed over and over and over in the same exact light is what loses a lot of fans, I think.
You're right. You are right. I was getting to know you. You talked about how you were looking towards small guys in the business, such as X-Pac, CM Punk, Shawn Michaels. And I want to ask you a question because seems though since The Undertaker now has retired and he's freely from the restrictions of his character, he's been saying a whole lot out there. And you're a small guy in the business, though, but I seem as though the business has changed a lot. You don't see a whole lot of really big men. And do you think the new Undertaker said, and I want to ask you your response. Do you think the new generations of wrestlers in the WWE are soft?
Well, far be it from me to say anything against the dead man himself. I mean, he's a legend in the business. He's been around for a long time. I think the biggest thing is times change, people change, experiences change. It's not the same world we're living in now. I'm not going to say one way or the other whether I think it's soft. Obviously, I've never been in a WWE locker room, so I really don't know what they do or what they've been through. And there's a lot to this business that a lot of people don't realize. There is a day-to-day grind. We're even on the small level that I am, we're still running shows, 2-3 days a week. We're going here to here to here. Sometimes you're showing up at shows. You don't know the people you're in the locker room with. You don't know what situation you're going into. Not to say I haven't ever experienced anything in my short time that has made me scared or anything in the locker room. But I think coming out of a generation where all these men were, they were trying to figure out how to word this. I think a lot has changed in the business. Now, whether that's a bad thing or a good thing is up for interpretation. But I think from where he started to where he finished his career spanned a long amount of time, and a lot can change in 30 plus years. So I'm not going to say wrestling is soft or wrestlers have become soft because I have no experience. 20 years ago, I'd say there's a lot of people in the business that I am legitimately would not want to find in a back alley somewhere. But at the same time, there are a lot of people I've met that are just the friendliest, nicest people you've ever met. And that's the beauty of pro wrestling. It takes all kinds to make the puzzle. It takes all different flavors of ice cream, to steal a line from a good friend of mine, to make wrestling what it is. You're never going to have all the same amount of people. You're never going to have all the same kind of people. It's just everybody working together to make the best possible product to put out for the fans and everybody else.
You're right about that. You're right about that. And, because Undertaker made some, remarks about, how the New Day played video games in the locker room and how was it then, so, I just wanted to hear your thoughts. And it's really crazy. What's your thoughts on the wrestling business as a whole now?
Again, it goes back to the flavors of ice cream. I was trained in the old school wrestling. It's a lot slower paced while I try to put my own twist of, a little bit quicker paced. It's still, I enjoy the storytelling. I enjoy, the wrestling that happened slowly. It developed, it built. I think there's a lot of wrestling nowadays that, it's so fast that sometimes the story gets lost. And that's not to say some people enjoy that, I personally enjoy watching, a lot of what the Young Bucks do. They're able to weave the story into the faster paced, more action packed stuff. And there's nothing wrong with any of it. It all needs to be woven together to make a good show. You're always going to have people in that crowd that want to see the fast paced, high action stuff. You're going to want to see the people that want the slower, slowed down, more drawn out. You're going to want people want to see the luchadors. People want to see, the strong style like New Japan has. And it's all what makes the perfect mix for everybody, because we'll circle back around to it. At the end of the day, it's all, I love to do this, but I love to do this for the fans. And so we want everybody to leave every single time as happy as possible.
You're right about that, man. You're right. Very interesting. You've been in the business for some time. Is there anything that you imagine the wrestling business would be before you got into it that it's not?
It is. I didn't realize how physically grueling the wrestling business was. I mean, I knew, day in and day out, these people are throwing themselves around. They're being thrown around. But I don't think you realize how physically and mentally exhausting it is sometimes. You're going from show to show. You've got a no DQ match one night, and the next night, you're doing a tables match. And, that's just random match stipulations thrown out there. But you don't realize, you're coming home after a show at, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're turning around going right back to a show the next night. You don't have time to recoup, revamp and everything. You're trying to down energy drinks on the way back to the next show. I think I didn't realize how much work was put into this business. And I'm honestly kind of ashamed to say that now, because every one of these people are athletes. They are 110% athletes. If they weren't, they wouldn't be able to do what they're doing today. I have a lot of respect for these guys. I'm glad I'm in the business. I'm glad I'm in the place I'm in right here. But that was definitely something that I did not realize. It is sometimes you get so lost in these superstars being superstars, you don't realize how much work they put in and day out.
You're right about that. You're right. You're part of a group. You're part of a group, and you have your own faction. Can you tell me about it?
Yeah. Yes, sir. We are the Dominion collectively at KEPW. We are the Masked Superstar, who is the heavyweight champion there, with Tony Corral, the United States champion, and myself. As we have branched out, Tony Corral and myself are a tag team together. We travel a little bit more, around the state and other places. And as stuff is opening up, we're starting to go, Indiana, Ohio, branching out, seeing what's out there. It all started back. I had no idea who either of these guys were at the time. And the guy in charge of promoting the show, Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling, was like, "Hey, I'm going to put you with this guy. I think you'd be really good with him." And I was like, "All right, who is he?" He's like, "The Masked Superstar." And I was like, "All right, cool." And we went out there and it we clicked. We went to the back and he and I talked a little bit and, figured out exactly what we needed to do to really mesh. And then it was a few weeks after that, the promoter came back up to me again and he was like, "Look, I've got somebody else to put with you." Masked Superstar wasn't there that night. I don't remember why he couldn't make it, but he said, "I've got somebody else to put with you guys." And I went out with him, and it was Tony Corral. and he had actually never wrestled that company before. He had just come back from a short little breakout from the business, had come back in and wrestled a few places a little south of here, and he came in, had the main event spot, and blew me and everybody else away. And I went to the promoter and I said, yeah, this is perfect. This is exactly what we're doing. So he said, you know what, we're going to let you guys run. We're going to see what you guys can do. And I mean, so far I can't complain with what we've done. It's been an amazing ride. It's been a whole lot of fun. It's had its ups and downs, but it's been a blast and I can't complain at all. I'm very, very fortunate to be with these two guys. And both of them have shared their, the Mass Superstars got 15 years in the business. Tony Corral has 20 and I've got 2. So that tells you much experience and how much I've learned from them over the past. I've been with them now for close to maybe a little over a year now. And everything that I've been able to learn from them and traveling with Tony and tagging with him, I've learned a whole lot, just doing that and traveling with him, that I'm very, very blessed to be in the spot that I am today.
Yeah, that's good. It's always about the people you surround yourself with. You surround yourself with like-minded people. The future is bright for you. The future is very, very bright. Where you see yourself at in the next 5 years in the wrestling business?
Well, I'm always trying to grow, always trying to build. Been very, very fortunate to travel where I have been, but I just want to keep traveling. This is something I love to do. It's something I think about every single day. Now, as far as I know, a lot of people have these goals of, I'm going to get signed by WWE. I'm going to get signed by AEW, ROH, TNA, whatever it might be. And I try to not I don't make that a goal. Because at the end of the day, I would love to perform in front of, that many people. I'd love to perform on a stage like that. But at the end of the day, I got in this business to perform for fans, whether it's 5 fans sitting in an armory somewhere, or it's, 10,000 fans. I'm going to travel. I'm going to do as much as I can to make the best product possible every single night. So, my goal is very, very broad. All it is keep improving myself and make the best product I possibly can for everybody else. And if that leads me in one direction or the other, awesome. If I'm still here performing in front of a Frankfurt crowd every single night, it does not bother me a bit, because I love every bit about what we do. And I enjoy doing it all.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I love it too. I love it. How you been staying focused throughout the pandemic and lockdown?
There's a lot of home workouts, a lot of watching. I really got an opportunity to watch a lot of product that was going on. Got a lot of ideas for a lot of new stuff, which, thankfully now that everything's open back up, been able to work on more. We were able to train a little bit during the pandemic. As stuff started to open back up, we were able to get back in. I worked a lot with Tony Corral on tag team moves, on stuff that just improved the overall look of everything. I very, very fortunate that I was able to do that with him. It's just a lot of studying what I had done, studying, my old tapes, studying things that I saw other people doing, that, back to the, X-Pac and Shawn Michaels and stuff like that, the guys that were just a little bit smaller in the business. Of course, Shawn Michaels was still a decent sized dude, but I mean, he was wrestling people like, Stone Cold, like The Undertaker, like Kane, Kevin Nash, Diesel, all these people that were quite a bit bigger than he was, and just learning little tiny nuances, things that you can do to best your opponent in the ring. It greatly improved. I believe it greatly improved what I was doing and what I was putting out as a product. And I honestly, I think it also gave me time to look at how my character was portrayed and how people saw me in the ring as just a person. So it gave me some time to brush up on that and do what I needed to do to be the best I can be.
Yeah, that's what's up. You got to be the best you could be, man. You got to be the best you could be. Before we hop back into it, man, who inspired you? Your fashion. How did you?
My fashion. Wow. Honestly, it was it goes back to my original trainer in Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling, Scott Diamond. He always comes dressed in a suit. He always, comes dressed as best as he possibly can be. And he always says, look your best and you'll turn eyes and turn heads. So I've tried to deviate a little bit from exactly what he does. I don't want to copy what he's got going on, but I always, try to look my best and try to be my best, because that's another thing that makes you stand out. Not everybody's coming dressed in the best. And I think that portrays where I'm going with this and what I'm wanting to do with the character. It's who Kamil Ahmad is, he's the best. He's the voice of the Dominion. Everywhere we go, we've got gold on our shoulders. So why am I not going to dress in, $500 suits? Why am I not going to, wear the scarf? Why am I not going to, look like I'm $1 million? Because at the end of the day, that's the product that we're trying to put out. We are $1 million.
You're right about that, man. You got to dress to impress. You got to always be prepared, man. For real, you always got to be prepared. I like that. We're going to move on here on the podcast, you guys. February 20th, Ascend Pro Wrestling, Make Your Name 2 is going to be you versus Xavier, Justin Xavier. Can you tell me about that show and my listeners about the show?
Well, this is actually my second opportunity to be able to go out there and perform for those guys. The very first one, I faced off against Justin Xavier's tag team partner, Carson Drake, who I know very, very well. I used to train back with him when we first started in Frankfurt. Justin is an awesome athlete from what little I've seen of him. I don't know an awful lot about him other than the one time I've seen him, but he's a new guy in the business, and that's something that I love, something I hold dear to my heart, because not very long ago I was green. I was fresh in the business. And to see him performing on the level that he is, it's awesome. Now that's not to say I'm not going to bring one hell of a fight, but I do enjoy seeing somebody as ready to go as he is, and as sharp as he is be in the business. I'm, the first time I went down there, I wasn't really sure, if I would fit in with the dynamic down there and everything. And I went down there and it was an awesome show. Didn't go exactly the way I wanted it to go. But it was, in the end, it was still an awesome experience. And I'm glad they gave me the call back and booked me for another match. And I'm sure I am 100% sure that Justin Xavier is going to put up one heck of a fight. And it's going to be an awesome match. So I would recommend, if anybody is in the Cincinnati area, come down to that show. It is February 20th. I'm there's pre-sale tickets available. They may still sell some at the door, but go ahead and get those pre-sale tickets, because it's not only our match too. We've got a 5-man ladder match going on that is going to be awesome. There's some great athletes. Carson Drake, the man I faced at the last show, is going to be in that. And I know for a fact, I can say he's one hell of an athlete. He's got that collegiate background. He's charismatic, and he puts up one hell of a fight too. So that's going to be awesome. I'm super excited about that. We've got the 21st too. Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling is going to be back in Frankfurt again. And I can say that that's near and dear to my heart, just because that's where I trained at. And that's where, the heart of the Dominion lies. So at the end of the day, I know that every one of those guys is ready to go. I don't know the card as of yet, as what's going on, but I do know that, both championships will be on the line there in Frankfurt for Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling. I know the tag team champions are defending their titles as well. And, of course, we've got what we've got going on over there with the tag champs, as well as, our titles. So I'm super excited about what's coming up. We're going to be back down. I don't know. I haven't posted the match to YouTube yet, but we just had a match last weekend at Top Notch Wrestling with the Burklow boys. And the Burklows are just awesome guys. I can't say enough about them. They are intense from the gate, and we'll be back against them here really shortly, hopefully at this next show that's happening at Top Notch. So keep an eye out for that as well. Because that just everything that's going on, everything that is about to happen here in the next couple months is going to be blockbuster. It's going to be awesome. I can't say enough about everybody involved. At the end of the day and at the end of the night, it's going to be a show for the ages, no matter where we go. And I'm not trying to say that to be boastful or anything. I just know that we're trying to put out, top notch product every single time we go out. And you can't miss it. If you miss the show, I try to put as much as I can on my social media pages to let people know what's going on and see what's going on. But if you are in the area, if you are in the Cincinnati area on the 20th, if you are in the Frankfurt area on the 21st, you have got to come watch this because it is top-notch wrestling. It is fine. No pun intended, but it is. It is high caliber. It's awesome. I can't wait to see what unfolds.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great show. It's gonna be a great show. You have any words for Justin before you leave?
I hope he's ready because Carson Drake squeaked out a win there when we faced him, and I know Carson very, very well, but he's got to be on the top of his game. He is. I'll say it again. He is amazing for where he's at, for how short he's been in the business, but I'm at the top of my game right now. I have never been better. I've never been cleaner. I'm in the ring. I'm training. I'm at home. I'm training. It's I don't stop. I nonstop 24/7 eat, sleep, breathe wrestling. I'm watching tape. I'm working on things in the back, and let's hope he's been doing the same thing because I'm not slowing down for him.
Hey, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. February 20th, you guys, make your name too. You guys, if you're in the area, if you guys in the Ohio area, go check it out. You go check it out. Before you go, Kamil, any superstars that are on the independent scene that you feel as though that's a breakout superstar besides yourself?
Man, we there's a lot of great guys out there right now. Couple of guys that I've worked very close with personally that I can vouch for. I know Omega D is one amazing athlete. I've worked with him quite a bit. He's done a lot of training, a lot of work with me. He works also at Ascend Pro Wrestling. He's down at SOAR Wrestling in Texas. He's working for USA down in Jackson, Tennessee. He is a guy that is a straight up sleeper. He's powerful. He's technical. He's ex-MMA. So, he's got that submission style. He's got the look. He's got everything about him, the attitude that, man, he can go places. I know, another person that I talked about trained with, Carson Drake, is an amazing athlete. He is built like a brick house, man. There's been many times he has suplexed me straight off the ground and I wasn't even waiting. I had no idea what was coming, and he has thrown me all across the ring. He's, like I said, he's charismatic. He's got the look of a superstar. Man, I've worked with so many great people and so many like awesome breakout stars. I hate to leave anybody out. But I'm drawing a blank right now. Just the Burklows, man, they were first time I'd been around them was last weekend, and those guys are just awesome people. They're great in the ring. Again, don't like how the match ended, but they put up one hell of a fight as well. And I'm thankful to be able to step in the ring with these kind of people. They elevate my game. I elevate theirs. We work very well together. Even though we're brawling it out in the ring, we're still, if they look good and if I look good at the end of the night, we're both coming out on top. Even if it doesn't come out like I'd like it to, even if I don't get that win, it's still all about, everybody is got to make a name for themselves. So it's a beautiful business.
Yeah, you're right, man. Everybody got to make a name for themselves. Kamil, I appreciate you joining me on the podcast.
Thank you,
now,
sir.
I started this wrestling podcast last year around May, and I've been having the privilege and the honor to interview some independent wrestlers, such as yourself, ring announcers and stuff, to just pick their brains. I've been a wrestling fan for a long time, but, I've been doing very well and excelling in podcasting. And I just wanted to keep connecting with guys such as yourself, man. Your energy was dope. Your fashion is is off the chain, man. So keep
Thank you.
doing your thing. Before you go, man, any shout outs, anything like to say, any questions for me?
Just I appreciate you having me on the show. I hope everybody goes and checks out social media. Look me up, Kamil Ahmad, on both Facebook and Instagram. You'll see everything that's going on with myself and the rest of the Dominion. We got a lot of stuff coming up, so just keep your eyes open, see what's coming up. If you're in the Kentucky area, always come check out what's going on with anything I post, because it's I can guarantee it's going to be one hell of a show. It's going to be one hell of a time, and you're gonna love every second of it. So again, I thank you so much for having me on this. Anytime I will gladly come back and talk wrestling with you.
No problem, man. No problem, Kamil. Stay safe, stay blessed, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you again for joining me this week on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. Yo, Kamil, man, I appreciate you joining me this week on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. Man, it was a good time chatting with you, picking your brains, man. And, you're originally from Jeddah, but you never been there. So, hey, man, it's really, really cool. And you're born here in the States, man. Just keep doing your thing, man. It's just fun. I love doing this. I just love connecting with people, man. I've been a wrestling fan since I was little. And, I have a disability. I'm in a wheelchair. And I always either saw myself some way in the wrestling business, not in the ring, but more so in the production truck or on commentary. I just want to keep learning. I just want to keep connecting and keep, just keep connecting and grinding with like-minded people such as yourself, man. You were sharp. Your fashion is sharp, man. Don't let nobody tell you your fashion ain't sharp, for real. Because when I saw you, I really just wanted to give him a woo for real, like a Ric Flair, man. But I appreciate it. You guys, man, if you are in the Ohio area, you guys, February 20th, you guys, go check it out, you guys. Ascend Pro Wrestling, make your name too. My guy, Kamil Ahmad, will be taking on Justin Xavier, and a bunch of great matches lined up, you guys, on that show. So, go check it out, man. Go check it out. And Kamil, thank you for joining me on the podcast this week. But you guys, man, before I go, man, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at Dre on Wheels. Follow me on Instagram at the 1130 podcast. Like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. Subscribe to the 1130 podcast right here on YouTube. And also, if you'd like to be a guest here on the podcast, email me. That's the 1130 podcast at gmail.com. That's the 1130 podcast at gmail.com. Man, what a show. What a show. Talk my crap, man, and got my guy Kamil here chatting it up. What a show. It's Friday, you guys, man. Enjoy you guys' weekend. I'll be back here with the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, next Friday. And you guys, man, don't forget to tune in to the 1130 podcast show this Wednesday on YouTube and on EB Radio. Wednesday at 11:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m. Central. Don't miss it, man. It's going to be dope. But, yo, it's your man Dre, a.k.a. Dre on Wheels.